Welcome to the League of the Genuine series conversations, where our mandate is very simple. We give you information and arm you with all the information you need to protect yourself, your family, your loved ones from counterfeits. And the other thing that we would like to do as well is to sensitize you and the general public on how dangerous counterfeits can be to you and to your health. Welcome to the show. I hope you've had a fantastic week. I'm back again with Fred Muwema from the Anti-Counterfeit Network Africa, and he's here to give us some more information as we have been talking about counterfeiting in the petroleum industry. We've looked at fuel, we've looked at lubricants, and now we are talking something completely different, still related to petroleum, and that's LPG. Welcome to the show, Fred.
Thank you, Rachel.
How's your week been?
Tough.
Tough.
But
productive.
I guess I'm getting tough as well.
Okay, yes, because the tough get going, right?
Yes, yes.
All right, so today we are talking LPG. We're talking gas. Liquid? What's LPG?
Liquified petroleum gas.
Exactly. And we use this in our homes, but I also understand that it's used in industries, it's used in all manner of places.
Actually, there is a new kind of gas being developed now that will be used in place of fuel.
Oh.
So you'll have some cars very soon using LPG.
No way.
Yes.
Interesting. Interesting. Okay, so let's start at the beginning, Fred. What is LPG? Explain to us what this,
LPG basically is your alternative to wood fuel or firewood or charcoal or electricity. The difference is that it is a clean burning fuel. It does not have, it's not toxic, okay? So you don't have the issues of pollution that comes out of burning of diesel or petrol.
Yeah.
So it's a very much sought after clean burning fuel. Here we use mainly for domestic, and like you've said, in metal cutting, there's LPG there, and many other industries. So it's a product that is fairly new. I don't know if you grew up using LPG.
No.
Same here. So most of us have probably encountered this product in the last 10, 15
years, maybe
20 years at most, because whereas the rest of the world had this gas LPG, we were still stuck with firewood, which predominantly we use, because the uptake of LPG in Uganda is so small.
Is it?
It's a shame, but I think less than 1% of us are using gas. LPG, which is below the recommended use and uptake. Actually, in the region we use the least. We are the least developed market for LPG. We're so small in that area, but with a potential, very big potential to grow. And as we discuss, we shall see that that's where the problem is. Now, LPG is, whereas it's a very important product in our day-to-day lives, is, I think, the least understood. We understand more about fuel and slightly more about lubricants than we understand about this gas. So that's basically it, but like you said, it is also an important aspect in conversation about faking or counterfeiting. It has, like most fast-moving consumer goods, it has also become, if you like, a victim, or it has been manipulated by counterfeiters in much the same way like other products. And with the result that the consumer and everybody else in the distribution channel is endangered. So this program, we hope, should be able to help us, help you out there, understand more about this product and its dangers or users.
And users. So maybe even before we talk about counterfeiting, I mean, it's shocking that you say there is counterfeiting in LPG.
Yeah.
a lot of us, and you've already said that the number of people that use gas is really minimal. Let's maybe focus on the domestic
which
use,
we understand
which
best.
we understand best. A lot of us don't know how to operate this gas cylinder. I should be asking you, but I'm sure the question will be directed to me.
I think tell everybody.
If I know how to
are
use
you
it.
the modern woman who leaves everything to the
To the
maid?
housemaid.
Do you know how to? Do you know about the gas, or you just wait for the byproduct?
So no. I look like the modern woman, but I actually know how to operate it. I want to clarify. I know how to operate it while cooking, but if the gas runs out, I need help disconnecting the regulator.
You call the police or something?
No, not quite. I don't call the police, but yes, I do need help to disconnect, take it for refilling, and then bring it back and then connect it again. Those details, I think, I would like to learn as well.
Okay, we have here a sample of a typical
gas cylinder,
pressurized cylinder. You know, in here you have the gas. There are basically two gases that make up the LPG, propane and butane, which when exposed to air or whatever, and there is fire, they light up. So in terms of counterfeiting, this cylinder you see here is a brand as well.
Yeah.
It's a brand. It has
The brand
a
name.
name engraved. I think we can see the
I'm gonna turn it
the
around.
engraving. It has an engraving there, which shows that this
belongs
is a
to a
product
particular brand.
of Starbucks.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Now, in all our talk about counterfeits, name is very important.
Yes.
We say that is your trademark. Okay. And what does that mean? If it has a name, who is the owner? Would you know who owns this?
Starbucks.
Very right.
Yeah.
Now, many people actually do not know that this is a product for the company that manufactures or orders for the cylinder and puts in the gas and distributes. Ownership does not belong to the consumer. The consumer lives, in most cases, the consumer will, once you go to acquire this, you pay an amount, which is essentially a deposit. It should be a refundable deposit. I don't know how many people get the deposits back. It's a deposit you pay to defray the cost of the cylinder.
Yeah.
And then you also pay for the gas. Okay? But when you're refilling, of course, you don't, you return the cylinder, it's refilled, so you don't meet the cost again.
Okay. So you just pay for the gas.
Yes. So it's believed that when you pay a deposit, the company, in this case Starbucks, is able to recover maybe 70-80% of the cost of producing.
Because this is expensive.
Yeah. Actually,
The storage.
LPG is a unique product in the sense that it's the only product where the container is more expensive than the content.
The products.
Usually when you buy a product that is packed, the product inside is more valuable than the packaging.
Yeah.
But here, the packaging is more expensive. And typically, on average, the recommended industry standard is that this will have the gas in up to about 80% of its capacity.
Okay.
This is again unique because the gas responds to heat and all the other external conditions. So they don't fill it up beyond 80% because you allow for room for expansion in case temperature changes and so on. And the other information you could see here, this is a 6 kilogram, they call it a 6 kilogram cylinder. But you can see on the top, it has
it's actually 8, I think. It's
8.3. 8.3 is not the amount of gas that goes in. This is in terms of kilos.
Okay.
8.3 here is the tire weight. The tire weight, the weight of this
of the cylinder
is 8 kilograms. But on the cylinder itself, it will show the maximum filling capacity, which should be 6 kilograms. So the combined weight of the cylinder with the content should not exceed 14.3 kilograms. So when you buy this product, if you say I need 6 kg, you must ensure that you have it weighed.
Yes.
They are weighing scales, but I don't know whether
you
get your gas weighed when you're buying.
I'll be honest, no.
Or you send the border man,
No,
so
yes,
you may
send
not
the
be
border
weighing.
man to deliver.
Yes, but if maybe you have a weighing scale at home. So if you bought 6 kg, you need to weigh and see that you have 14.3 kilograms. Because as we shall see, one of the biggest aspects of counterfeiting of gas is in the short supply. So they give you less. You
Less
think you
than
bought
what
14,
whereas
you have not bought 14. So what I can say for now in terms of counterfeiting is that apart from the cylinder being a product of the brand that supplies, they usually will also have an independent supplier of what we call the regulator. I hope we can have a demonstration on how this works. But
I think that would be
those who have gas at home, the top here is the regulator. It has a knob here where you turn on and off.
Yes.
I'm sure that you have done at home.
That I know.
Okay, you turn on and off.
Yeah.
This is called Eurotech. I think that's the manufacturer. And then it has a hose here through which the gas moves from the cylinder, and that is fitted here. This is a new cylinder which has a seal, but it's fitted here and then into your cooker. Yeah. Sometimes the cooking is done just on top here.
Yes.
Maybe we shall have a chance to see that.
Yeah.
And the other aspect of which causes counterfeiting in terms of gas is leakages. And a lot of the leakages occur if there is damage to this hose
so
here.
Either the hose or the cylinder or the regulator.
Yes, you'll have issues there. But even this, you may look at it as very strong. It can also leak if it is mishandled.
Yeah.
So basically, this is the summary of the story on what LPG is. And maybe as we conclude, it has got some instructions here. Safety, caution. In this case, they are saying, always keep the cylinder in upright position during transportation, storage and use. I am sure you have seen a boda
keep it horizontal,
taking a cylinder on the back like this.
That. Oh yeah. 100%.
The instruction is that
to keep it upright.
You should keep it upright. Some experts will tell us why do you need to keep it upright. Then they say keep the cylinder away from heat and open fire. Keep the cylinder in well ventilated space. So meaning that whereas we see this as a piece of metal, it's actually a machine. It also needs to
be stored
looked
properly
after in good conditions. It actually needs to be maintained.
Yes.
When did you last maintain your cylinder at home?
I think the maintenance comes with the refilling. I don't know.
No. Maintenance is...
Or me as the owner?
As the owner. Because when you take to refill, they have got to check whether it is still usable, whether it needs what they call pre-qualification or servicing. This thing has got to be serviced. It's a machine, the way you service a car. So it has got, I know it's something that is durable. You can have cylinders for 5 or so years, but it has a lifespan as well. So you need to ensure that you keep it in
in good,
conditions. I think later in the program we shall see what happens if the storage is not good.
With, yeah.
And then they say when you smell LPG odor, don't turn on any appliance or light. Turn off, in other words, if there's a leakage. Because this gas does on its own doesn't smell. So what they did is to put some odor for you to notice that there's
a smell.
There's gas around. Otherwise, then you wouldn't be able to tell. Then they say fit the regulator and hose without a crack and replace every 3 years. Okay, so there's a timeline.
There's a timeline. So you've given us a basics on what we need to know about the cylinder, about the hose, about the regulator, just as a regular consumer. I would like to have somebody who actually knows how to install and talk to us a bit about looking after the cylinder and what sort of things that you need to know to ensure that you don't have leakages, to ensure that there are no explosions in your home or in your house or in your businesses.
I am 100% sure you've not received any training before now on how to use gas.
No,
but
I'm
you're a proud owner of a gas cylinder, and
I'm living the good life.
Yes, so many people out there do not have any training of any kind,
yes,
on how to use and handle this thing, and that is a big problem. And I think the brands in this case have a lot of issues, because why do you put a useful but dangerous product out there and never train anybody? So I agree that we actually need to have a demonstration, because we all need to know how to use
it.
Yes.
We'll have that demonstration when we return. Do stay with us. You are watching the LOG series conversations, and today we're talking LPG. Welcome back to the LOG series conversations. Today we are talking liquid petroleum gas, and we're talking counterfeits in this particular sector. And before the break, Fred took us to school with the ABCs of what this cylinder is, how much the gas weighs, how much the cylinder weighs, the things that you need to know to make sure that you are not cheated and that you are not shortchanged. And we did promise that we would bring you an expert. His name is William Malavu, and he is in charge of our special projects here at the Anti-Counterfeit Network. And he's going to take us through how to operate this cylinder, because there's not been a lot of training. And maybe you would like to start at that point. William, welcome to the show, first of all.
Thank you.
Why do you think there isn't a lot of training? Because this is quite dangerous to operate if you don't know how to use it.
Well, thank you for having me. And yes, that's a very important question. First of all, there are very few corporate companies that are dealing in gas, and yet there are also several distributors that are distributing out there. So the corporate companies do a bit of training.
A little bit, yeah.
But they do at their outlets, but maybe that is not adequate enough. But at the same time, they have so many distributors that are out there that are also selling out these gas cylinders and so on and so forth, and they expected that they should be passing on this information, but it is not adequate, and that of course is creating an exposure of the consumers or the users of the gadgets. They need to be doing a lot more than what they're doing.
So William, I'm sorry, from a legal standpoint, if you say that they let out a product which is potentially dangerous without a manual or information on how to use or not to use it. So if somebody got harmed with this product, from your experience, where do you begin from?
From my experience, there is lack of awareness by the consumers where the liability falls. Technically and legally, they are liable because you're supposed to inform me on how safely I should be handling the product that you're giving to me. I should be knowing the ABCs of how I should be handling this commodity. And if you don't give me the ABCs, you've exposed me. But I do not know that I can hold them liable.
Accountable.
And therefore, the reality is that people get away with their damage, but they don't know how to follow through with it.
Maybe, Rachel, what I can say.
Yes, please.
On our part here, we pledge through this platform to make everybody who has to play a part in making products safe in making products use safe
Yeah.
to do their part. And,
Yes.
and I can tell you without fear of contradiction that because this is the product of the company, it has a responsibility to ensure it's
educate.
maintained,
Yes.
though the proper and safe use of it is the responsibility of the consumer. But I think there is an original responsibility of the person putting it on the market to ensure that the consumer has knowledge on how
to use it.
So
Yeah.
I think we shall make an effort to reach out to these
To
brands,
the brands, yes.
to give the information to the
Yeah.
consumer,
Yeah.
so that we do not have loss of life or property because of the gas.
poor handling. So, William, before you came on, Fred talked to us about the cylinder, how much it weighs when the gas is inside the cylinder. And then he also mentioned something about maintenance. I guess whose job is it to maintain the cylinder? What does that look like? And then what does a poorly maintained gas cylinder look like?
Thank you so much, Rachel. To begin with, before the cylinder even gets into the hands of the consumer, it's normally returned to the owner or the supplier of the gas. When the supplier of the gas receives the cylinder, he inspects the cylinder that is being returned to him to check for damage on the cylinder, to check on any leakage on the cylinder, to check whether the valves are still working okay, to ensure it is still in good condition. In case he discovers that there's any leakage, the cylinder will be taken to be repaired, to be restored to its proper condition. In case there is any leakage, any damage to it, maybe deformed and so on and so forth, it must be repaired before it is filled. Then after it's been confirmed and repaired, then they have to fill it with gas.
Yes.
And when they fill it with gas, still a proper process has to be taken through. You must confirm whether it's not overfilled or underfilled before you put a sticker on, the quality assurance sticker is put on. So that process is handled by the supply of the gas.
So William, just wait. Quality assurance sticker. Is it like you see, like when you service a car, there is a card, and then they say next service is at
this number.
Well,
do these cylinders also have a service card?
If we look at this particular one, before the delivery, there must be a sticker placed on to confirm that they have carried out the checks and they have assured that the
it's
cylinder
in
is in
good
good
condition.
condition, it's not leaking, the gas that has been put there is the right quantity, it's not overfilled or underfilled. Then they can put a sticker on and then dispatch to the distribution point. Now you may get into the market and find cylinders without stickers. So that should be, as a consumer, should be
A warning.
raising a question to you that then why should I be buying a new product that has been inspected in the factory or in the filling station and doesn't have a sticker on to even remind me of my expectations on how I should be handling this thing. So all those have to be handled by the genuine, credible supplier of gas. I know there could be people who just fill and return. That means that person has not inspected the cylinder, he has not confirmed whether it is damaged, he has not confirmed whether it's overfilled. And overfilling of cylinder gas is very dangerous. And you know, as a consumer, if you received an extra kilo,
You're happy.
be excited.
It's a bonus.
But for gas, it's dangerous.
It's dangerous, yes.
It's dangerous because these cylinders are built with the maximum capacity. Anything, and like you mentioned earlier on, they put there up to a certain percentage to allow the expansion. Now, if you overfill, that expansion results into a leakage, which leakage is only waiting for a spark, which spark will turn into an explosion. That means it will be risking your life. So all those.
So no nyonges are in gas. you buy one, you get two. Nothing.
It has to be the right
in a different
quantity.
cylinder, maybe.
It has to be in the right quantity.
Yeah.
So before it gets into my hands, there are proper standards that have to be handled by the supplier of gas to ensure that everything is being taken care of to protect me and for me to get the right quantity. And Fred also mentioned that when you go to the petrol station, you want to buy a certain quantity. So for example, you have a 15 kg or a 12 kg or a 6 kg, and that's what you want to pick and you're replacing it with. But it's difficult for you to confirm whether I have buying actually 6 kg. But you explained it rightly that when you look at the cylinder, it has the tire weight, which is, for example, in this particular one, the weight of the cylinder is 8.3. And then if you're buying 6 kg, they have to add on 6 kg over the 8.3, and that is the 14.3.
Yeah.
So in other words, if you're taking it away, essentially it should be weighed and you confirm that you have 14.3 kg in this cylinder. But quite often, rarely, do we get that confirmed to us? All we do is you reach the petrol station and you shake, which is dangerous.
Shaking is dangerous. Oh.
Shaking is dangerous. The liquid, the gas that has been put there is so volatile. If you shake it, you're provoking it.
Yes.
And actually, you also mentioned that it has to be carried in an upright manner. And it has to be stationed in an upright manner. You don't tilt it, you don't make it overhead and so on and so forth. So all that is critical in my responsibility to take care of this gas. So essentially it should be weighed and I should be able to confirm that I'm taking away what I paid for.
So Rachel,
yeah,
can we have an LPG gas challenge here?
Yes.
Who of us can install this? We have the regulator there and so on. Can you install and we see?
I fear for my life, so why don't we have William?
William, you can.
He doesn't fear for his life.
No, I'm sure you'll be careful.
Okay, when you receive the gas must be sealed.
Yeah.
When you bought it. Like
So let's see the seal there.
So the seal is there.
That,
So
okay.
it's important for
So you can't buy gas without a seal.
There are many gas.
There are these other dealers who will just fill. They don't put a seal.
Yeah, it's important for you to confirm that the seal is there and the sticker is also on.
Okay. The company sticker.
The company sticker. And preferably the seal must be, the gas must be filled by the provider of the cylinder. So the
that's
seal
the
is
seal.
on. So you
remove
the seal, and once you push it in first so that it locks.
But after removing the seal.
But after removing the seal.
Okay.
Once you placed it on, you push this in and you press it on top.
Yeah.
And then it locks. You hear that clicking sound.
That clicking sound, yeah.
Once it locks. While you're installing it, it must be on the off position. The regulator mustn't be on.
Yeah.
Off is where?
Off. This is off.
And
down,
on
yes.
is?
On is when
is vertical, yeah.
When you push
You knew
it up,
that,
it
That
Rachel.
I know.
Okay. This is on and this is off.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. So when you connect it, it must have been already connected on the hose. The hose, some hoses come with clips on here. The clips help to reinforce the sealing here. Because leakage can take place at the connecting point where the ribs are.
Yeah.
So the clips can help to further, when you use continuously, some become weak at this point, but you use a clip to further strengthen it there to reduce risks of leakage, as well as connecting it on the burner or on the stove. You connect it using this hose, and some burners, some hoses have clips which to fasten it, so that you further again reduce a leakage at this connection point. And while you're connecting it here and also the burner, both the burner and the regulator must be off. And after you've secured and connected it, then you can switch on the gas here. Then it will be transmitted onto the burner,
to your cooker.
and then you can switch on the stove. Switch on the valve on the stove. And after you finish using it, of course you can regulate. You don't keep it at full range, you can reduce it depending on your cooking levels and conditions. After you finish cooking, you switch off the stove and you must
turn
switch
off here.
You must turn it off.
Okay.
Where do you place the cylinder? You have to place it in a place that is ventilated. You don't place it in a congested, closed-in place. That, of course, helps to reduce the aeration, in case there's leakage, and also to maintain the temperature.
But William, I have seen some dealers, even in Intinda, they are selling gas, and it's in some cage outside, and they are
exposed
packed.
to heat.
There is heat, there is dust.
Yeah.
Is that a good practice, industry practice?
Well, gas cylinders are transported in trucks that have cages and placed there upright. And when they are delivered to the retailer or to the outlet, he also places them in a cage, in upright. So Yes, you're saying it shouldn't be in open,
exposed to
sunlight,
the sun.
but it is safe. It is placed outside, it's not inside, it's safe in a cage. And it's open, and then you remove the cylinder of choice, and then you close off. But it must be upright, and it must be in a shelter.
Thank you. Thank you very much, William. I think this has been quite helpful.
It's difficult to remove. I think this is a genuine product.
Which is a good thing, yeah? It's definitely difficult to remove. I hope that this demonstration has been helpful. I know that it has been for me. So look out for all those things, the name of the brand on the cylinder, how much it weighs without the gas, then with the gas, and make sure you have your cylinder measured. All these things that William and Fred are explaining are for our own good. But what happens when you don't take care of, the storage of your cylinder? A video that was aired by NBS early on this year showed a cylinder had exploded and damaged a lot of property. We want to watch that video and make a few comments after that, so we'll be right back.
This was the situation last night in Kisasi, Chikuru zone, when a gas cylinder exploded. The fire started at about 8:30 p.m., destroying the makeshift gas cylinder refill station. The scene, which is also home of area chairman, had a night parking with over 30 cars, and 2 of them were affected. Police's fire department used 4 water trucks to put out the fire, but even when all seemed to be back to normal, another fire broke out in the nearby store.
The gas cylinders, there were some gas cylinders here at the neighborhood, and they have busted, and it has caused a lot of harm. Many people, I think the entire store where these gas cylinders have been kept has been really completely finished. And it's good that the police has come,
but we thank God that we have not lost anybody, and all people have survived. So, but it was a business for gas filling, and it has been assisting us in getting jobs for our families and other people around the area, but it was just an accident.
By Sunday morning, the police bomb squad had cordoned off the scene, with officers investigating the cause of the fire. In the due course, over 50 gas cylinders were discovered in a small room.
And what we have done so far is to introduce investigators on ground to ascertain what exactly caused this fire. Of course, after ascertaining, we shall of course have to summon the owner of this premise and also find out how these items got into his home, were they illegally there, and all that. We have also introduced experts that collected some items, some gas cylinders, which will be taken for proper disposal.
The Chisasi-Chikulu Local Council 1 Defense Secretary Raymond Kaga says the situation was unbearable.
We happened to get a sound, a hissing sound from that side where the gases are kept. Out of the blue, we saw an explosion. We heard of an explosion in the air. We tried to come and rescue the fire to cool it down. We poured some water, but then the water that we were pouring there was like adding more, like we are like pumping the fire more, right?
In September last year, a projectile containing incendiary liquids went off in Matuga, killing 1 person and several injured. In November 2019, police cordoned off Mulago roundabout over fears of possible gas cylinder explosions. Story filed by Salma Namwanje, Zahara Namuli, NBS Live at 9.
So there you have it, a very disturbing video about a gas cylinder exploding in Chisasi early on this year, and that was shown by NBS television. Property, of course, destroyed. I think I saw in the video 2 cars were also affected. I guess it could have been worse, because this gas that we're talking about is really volatile, and just a spark, just a small spark, can cause a lot of damage. What are your thoughts?
First of all, from the video, you can really see what we've been saying. Lack of consumer knowledge. Because that explosion did not occur in an instant. There are things, telltale signs, that show that there's something wrong, that if the guys who are manning the facility knew, they would have been able to prevent the explosion. I am sure from the video, you can see that the facility where these cylinders are stored is not properly designed or fitted. You have, I'm sure, exposure to the sun. There isn't enough ventilation. The cylinders are packed, rammed up together. The very things that actually cause issues. But because no training whatsoever, I don't know which brand I don't know whether that's an agent for a particular brand or many brands, but like we have seen, you have one guy who is selling different brands. So which brand is responsible for that? You have an issue. In some markets, they say, can we have a single brand distributor so that you know who is accountable? Sometimes some brands have a hospitality arrangement where we are two brands, but you can have one distributor handling both brands. Why is that important? For maintenance.
Yes.
Like William said, because when you return the cylinder for filling, there's a health check. Is the valve still okay? Is there a leakage? But in that kind of outlet that you saw, do they do those checks? Do they do maintenance? Do they put a seal? Do they put a sticker to say next service is on this day or that? They don't. So that is a sign of things to come. If we allow the benefits of liberalization that we talked about in the fuel sector and lubricants, liberalization meaning allow as many players as possible to come. Problem is that you are developing the sector, the uptake of LPG gas is increasing by Ugandans, but the regulation is lagging behind. I know that the UNBS has put up standards on specifications of the LPG. Specifications, but I don't think the biggest problem is on specifications of LPG. The biggest problem is on the handling, use and distribution.
Yes,
that's where the issue is. Do we have monitoring? For example, when was the last audit carried out by UNBS to see which outlets are handling and distributing the LPG in a proper way? Because I looked at the regulations. They are looking for standards of commercial propane, commercial butane. I mean, people don't know nothing about these issues. What they know is that I can send a border guy, he will take the cylinder lying down, and I will cook and my family is happy. These are the real everyday issues or challenges that people are facing. So can we have regulations that speak to or answer to the felt needs of the community, which is how do we avoid the dangers of using this gas? So that story, for me, from a legal perspective, is also further evidence of weakness in law enforcement. Yes, we have a story of an explosion. Do we know if an investigation actually was done to the fullest extent? Do we know if it led to a prosecution? If it did, do we know the results of the prosecution? Was anybody held liable? Who has paid the damages for the damaged property? Supposing life was lost. In the video we see there was another explosion that took place shortly thereafter. So how many more explosions are we expecting in 2020, in 2021? How many people will die can we prevent some of these issues? So I think that LPG, very good attributes. It helps in fighting deforestation, in protecting the environment. It is clean. It doesn't have any pollutants. But can we stop this negligence? The negligence which we have in our Dankani, the negligence on the part of the brands, the negligence on the part of the regulators, the negligence on the part of we the consumers. Like William said, who are always looking for a bargain. We think that more is merrier. Please, more gas is not dangerous. It's dangerous. Make sure that you have the required amounts in your cylinder.
Fred, as we conclude, so you did mention earlier on in the show that there actually is counterfeiting and adulteration in LPG. What does that look like as a consumer? How do I tell that my gas has been adulterated, if at all?
Okay, adulteration occurs mainly in the distribution channel. Usually the companies that buy this gas in bulk and then bring it here to the different filling plants, there are no issues there usually. The issues are in the distribution, the retailing of this product up to your home. That's where the issue is. So you have some unscrupulous dealers who, for example, for the 6 kg cylinder we have here, they get the 6 kg gas from, for example, the bigger one of 40. We have those very long ones.
Yes.
And a few guys have been caught siphoning out, taking out the what they call the decanting is filling it from another station. If this is Starbucks, you go and fill in from some nondescript operator.
Wow.
It's not a Starbucks gas, meaning that Starbucks cannot guarantee quality, cannot guarantee even safety of the cylinder. So sometimes also you have unscrupulous dealers putting some water in there to get the weight, putting some sand in the cylinder. So all this is the way that the counterfeiting is done to affect the quality and genuineness
of the gas
of the product. But a lot of it is occurring in the refilling or underfilling. A lot of it occurs there, and then of course a lot of it is through the stealing of one brand's cylinder, okay, and then you fill in gas from some unknown place. A lot of it sometimes is in trying to repaint or refigure this. So if this were a Starbucks, somebody steals it and then paints it and puts
a different
kind of gas.
Wow.
These are all the forms of counterfeiting or faking that are affecting the use and enjoyment of such a beautiful product. And again, the emphasis is, can we have more consumer education? I think the moment the consumer is informed, the consumer is empowered, and when the consumer is empowered, the brand is also empowered and protected, because then it will be able to reach as many consumers as possible. It will be able to look after its bottom line. If it's looking to make a profit, it will be able to make it, but also it will help the consumers to have an enjoyable experience with this product. Because if this thing blows up, if any cylinder blows up, there is reputational damage to the brand.
And lives lost. I'm just thinking a lot, you know, because I live in what they call them in English, they call them kalinas in Luganda. So a flat. So I'm imagining a gas cylinder blowing up in a flat, the amount of property that's lost. I mean, there could be lives. I mean, there might be people in their homes. That damage for me is unfathomable. And so for me, my takeaway is I need to be very, very careful about leakages, especially because you just never know where the spark is going to come from. And I think also measuring your gas cylinder, I think that was also very key.
Yeah, talking about the leakages, if you're out there and you're smelling that there's a leakage of the gas, what do you do? I mean, the brands have not told us, but what I have seen practically that happens is that if the leakage, to establish where the leakage will be coming from, because it can come from many places. Like William explained, it could be on the hose, at some point. It could be at just the nozzle where you put the, maybe there are issues with the valves. I have seen that sometimes they get soapy water put around the area where the leakage is suspected. If there's a leakage, you'll see bubbles there or on the hose itself. But you have to be careful to ensure that you clean it up quickly and properly, because of oxidation, and this is a metal, it can lead to rusting and affect
not good for your gas.
The quality of the cylinder. So those are some of the self-help rules, but of course the idea is buy from a genuine supplier for the gas. Why? Because like William said, the gas, if it's procured from a genuine supplier, will have a sticker. They'll put a sticker. It will have the supplier's name. It will have supplier's contact, and many times an emergency contact. So if you're having this kind of problem, a leakage at home and so on, the first point of call is the supplier.
Yes.
But if you are going out there and you think you're saving by buying from a nondescript, unknown supplier, if you have a leakage, who will you call?
Who will you call?
And if you are using somebody else's cylinder and you go and fill from somewhere else, there is no way the brand owner will help you because they'll try to check on the service card when did you last refill at their place. If they find you did not refill, they may not help you.
They won't be able
so
to help
I
you.
think it's counterproductive for us as consumers to engage in those practices of thinking we are making a service. We cannot be dodgy on the gas. It is a very good product. Unlike the fuels and lubricants, it doesn't expire, okay? But it can be very flammable and very dangerous if not handled in the proper way.
Thank you so much, Fred and William, earlier. We do appreciate all the information and insight. Take care of your cylinders and arm yourself with information. And of course, to the brands, we continue to implore you to come out and educate the consumers. Until next week, we'll be handling a completely different subject, still in the subject of counterfeiting. You want to stick around and find out what that is. Leave us a comment, a question. We'll be happy to respond to it. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and we'll see you next Friday.